Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. This is an elk antler. When Raleigh Kogan was the elk biologist, I'm talking years ago, we did a lot of stories with him. We trapped and transferred some bull elk, and I actually got to cut this off of a bull elk before we transferred it. Raleigh Kogan now runs an organization called Keystone Elk Country Alliance. Big building, beautiful property. Here's Raleigh Kogan.
The Keystone Elk Country Alliance is a Pennsylvania-based 501c3 wildlife conservation organization. We operate the Elk Country Visitor Center here in Benezet.
It hasn't been here forever. Tell me how it got started.
Well, it's a very cool example of a private-public partnership between the Keystone Elk Country Alliance and the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. In other words, we pooled resources both financially and expertise-wise, and we're able to put this facility in place here. We were able to hire staff. We were able to get exhibitry displays, our 4D theater, the trails, the viewing areas, the forage plots in place. And then we opened it up in September of 2010. And since that time, Jake, we're averaging somewhere around 400 to 450,000 people a year. The most we ever had was 481,000 people a year. A lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So the whole concept was to introduce folks to Pennsylvania's elk country, but it was also from the Governor Rendell's administration. It was to drive economic development because we'd lost a lot of manufacturing jobs, but what did we have? We had natural resources. So on the back of elk watching and nature tourism, this facility was put in place to attract people here to view elk. They're pretty viewable, pretty cool animal to view. They make, they bugle, so it's a pretty big attraction. And then it would drive economic development from the standpoint of the entrepreneurs would step in the tourism industry, food, transportation, lodging, and they would build up the businesses in the Benezet area, and now it's driving foot traffic to the region. Jake, we are a nonprofit. We get $0 from the Commonwealth to operate this facility. That's kind of what we signed up for. And if you think about it from the Commonwealth standpoint, it's a really cool model because they injected about $6 million. Private sector raised another $6 million to match it, and then the Commonwealth steps out. And the Commonwealth then allows the Keystone Elk Country Alliance to operate and manage. It doesn't cost the taxpayers money each year to keep us in operation. So to answer your question, we raise money through our gift shop, and we only sell made in USA products in our gift shop. There's some really cool local artisans, they're really talented people, and we have their goods and wares and their crafts in our gift shop. We have some prepackaged food in our gift shop as well. We have apparel in there, Keystone Elk Country Alliance apparel and other apparel, Elk Country Visitor Center apparel. Another revenue stream for us is the theater. It costs $5 to go into the theater. It's about a 22 to 25 minute presentation. We have horse-drawn wagon rides generate dollars for us. We also go out and we do fundraising banquets all across the state. We start in Erie in January, down as far south into Pittsburgh, over to Indiana, Johnstown, and as far east as Allentown. And we're gonna lay in a new banquet up in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area next year.
You're coming to our area.
We are, we're heading your way.
If somebody wants more information about what you do here, how to find you, places to stay, is there a brokerage for that?
There is. Go to our website. Our website is experienceoutcountry.com. There's a lot of information on there as well about what we offer here, when the rides are offered, where the banquets are, a lot of things going on in Pennsylvania's elk country. We've had folks here from 45 different countries. Now, I'm not saying that they come here from France and Germany just to see the elk herd, but I'm saying to you, once they're in our country, they find a way to come here, a reason to come here, and they're pretty proud to put it on the map that they came from a country. And then we have folks from all 50 states every year that come here. And I'm not saying this lightly, it's a world-class destination.
So tell me, acreage-wise, how big is it, and what exactly do people get to do when they come?
Acreage-wise, this property that's unique to the Elk Country Visitor Center is only 245 acres, but the unique thing is it borders directly up against the Elk State Forest, which is 240,000 acres, okay, which borders up against the Moshannon State Forest, which is another 250,000 acres. So what I'm saying is the Elk Country Visitor Center is tucked right up against public land. And if you look at north central Pennsylvania, we have enough public land, about 2 million acres, the size of Yellowstone National Park, and we're sitting just on the western edge of it. So there's a lot of room here for folks to come, and not just to see elk, but part of your other question is, what do they do when they come here? Well, they want to see an animal for sure. And so when they come to the visitor center, they can come into the building, and then inside the building you can look at some full-mounted animals. We have some exhibitry, some displays inside that explain elk behavior, elk eating habits, habitat, food preferences, all those kind of things. Coming to Pennsylvania's elk country anytime is a good time, but if you want to hear elk bugle, they're only going to do that in September and October, sometimes into November. So everybody likes to come and watch that rut, watch the bulls fight and listen to them bugle. I get all of that. But to your question about largest concentrations of elk, actually happens post-rut. So once the rut is over and done, long about November, we've had up to 168 head of elk on this property at one time.
Wow.
So it's like the chaos is over, all the bulls, they kind of went off on their own to form bachelor groups. Now you got the cows and calves all coming together again. They are social animals. So November, December is a good time to see large groups of elk. And then when they settle in for the winter, it's kind of a feast or famine thing. You're either going to see a bunch of elk, or sometimes you're not going to see any. It depends on the winter. We get real deep snow, crusted snow. Animals will have a tendency to move off the plateaus, off the mountaintops into the valleys. And of course, that's where man has his roads. So a lot of times in severe weather, you'll see a lot of animals in the valleys too.
I strongly recommend a visit to elk country, and in particular to that visitors area. It is gorgeous. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.